Okay, this is Carter, page 9, and the Ethiopian king who was speaking down to the fish eaters. He's just finished speaking. Tauta de apon, having said these things. Apon is the strong aorist of lego. This is the strong aorist participle. Kai anes totoxon. Let's go to the bottom and just check out the vocab there. Aniemi is a me verb, like didomi, tithemi, fairmi, which means I say. It means to loose or slacken. You don't need to know that that is a participle of aniemi, and it means having loosed the bow. So we unstrung it. In order for it to travel, it has to be unstrung, otherwise it loses its strength, its power. Also, the challenge is for the Persians to restring it. He reckons they won't be able to because they are half the men that the Ethiopians are. Having loosed the bow, having unstrung the bow, what does he do next? Paradoke, he gave it. Didomi, I give. Paradidomi, I suppose just to present something to somebody. He presented it tois herkusi. Let me briefly explain. There is a verb herko, which means I have come. If this were to be a present participle, then it would be on usa on, having come. If you get to the dative plural, well, let's start at the genitive plural. Herkontone, herkuson, herkontone, and then the dative plural, present participle, masculine, herkusi. Feminine, herkusais, neuter, herkusi. So he presented it to those men who had come. He presented it to his visitors. Anyway, let's go on. Labone, from lambano, another strong aorist participle. Having taken tohema, the raiment, the garment, which one? The purple garment. Ereto. Well, what a coincidence. Let's see if you remember this verb. Erotao. Means I ask. It's got a strong aorist, aeromen. Let's write that if we can. You may well have seen that in the vocab. That's the strong aorist of erotao. So aeromen means I asked. Omen u eto, ometha esthe onto. So ereto is he asked. Having taken the purple raiment, he asked. He asked ho ti aer. Well, aer, if we look at the bottom there, you've got an, the optative of Amy, I am. The optative is just like the subjunctive. It can mean, if translated, might be, rather than just is. So he asked what it might be. It could also mean, by the way, in Greek, what it was. But I like to think that he is incredulous. He asked what it might be. And he asked hopos pepoiermenen. Well, pepoiermenen, you don't need to worry about. It is a perfect participle. You don't need to know any perfect participles. And it's from a very simple verb, which is poieo, I make or do. He asked two things. He asked what it was, with the implication what on earth it was, and how it was made. Well, how was it made? The fish eaters are about to say, "E ponton de ton ichthyphagon ten alethean." This is a genitive absolute. It's like the Latin ablative absolute. Everything's in the genitive. The main subject and the verb go into genitive. So, with the fish eaters having said the truth, ten alethean, about the purple, kaites baphers, strange word. We look at the bottom, we can see it means dying, dipping or dying, okay, the dying process. So with the fish eaters having explained the truth about purple and dying, what's the truth about purple and dying? Well, there's a shellfish which divers found in the Mediterranean. I think the Latin word is murex, M-U-R-E-X, and they somehow extract the purple from this shellfish. It's a very complicated, expensive, exotic process, and no doubt this is all explained to the Ethiopian king, who is just incredulous at the lengths these Persians will go to just to make a garment. The dyeing process itself is complicated also. So, no doubt it took the fish eaters a long time to explain just how they came up with this strange looking garment. Anyway, when they'd finished speaking, let's just rub out this bit because it's distracting me. When they finished speaking or explaining the truth about purple and the dyeing process, the next word we need to go to is epher. He said. He said men and de. He said on the one hand that the men were dolorous. Notice at the bottom, this is a key word here, doloros. It means deceitful or treacherous. He said that men were treacherous. He said the men were treacherous. He said men could be treacherous, and, on the other hand, he said ta hemata auton, their garments could also be treacherous. The implication is definitely that Persian garments, well, they're just so deceitful. They're not really purple. They have to be put through this ridiculous process to be made purple, to be disguised, to become totally unnatural. And that, to some extent, is a deception. Only things that are natural are undeceitful. They are as they are. So he says, these clothes are a fake. They're a fraud. They're a con. They're not what they appear to be. And that's just like the men who have brought them. So the Ethiopian king is all for simplicity. He wants simple, honest people, and he wants simple, honest, natural clothing. And these bizarre garments brought to him from the Persians don't bode well, because they suggest some sort of attempt to cover up what the clothing really is. And he knows that these ambassadors, these visitors from Persia, these visitors who have come on behalf of the Persians, are themselves disguising the truth.